There is nothing in this law that gives any president the ability to strip away the funding for PBS and NPR.
I'm going to have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
You know, people tried to talk about the mental acuity of Joe Biden and...
Ah, boy, here we go.
What's your message to Donald Trump if he's watching this?
Man.
Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I promise that you won't regret wasting your precious lifetime watching these clips.
What do we make of this?
I brought props with you
I
today,
love a
Deanna.
prop.
I went ahead and read the entire law for you, the 1967 Public Broadcasting Act. There is nothing in this law that gives any president the ability to strip away the funding for PBS and NPR. Congress was really specific back 50-plus years ago. They wanted to create an entity that was free of government control.
The government wanted to create a taxpayer-funded agency that was free of government control?
They wanted to make sure no president could ever pressure PBS or NPR. So this is going to be a legal fight, like so many others that we've seen. And I suspect President Trump probably wants it that way. Look at the statement that we've received this morning from the head of PBS, Paula Kroger. She says this is a blatantly unlawful move overnight by President Trump. She says this is going to hurt people around the country because it threatens our ability to serve the American public with educational programming. The lie at the end is key. We are currently exploring all options to allow PBS to continue. NPR is saying the exact same thing. Now, we know that President Trump was already planning on sending a rescission package to Congress trying to claw back the next 2 years of funding for PBS and NPR. That's already in the works. It seems to me he wants to have a fight very publicly with these networks, and he may well get one.
Yeah, no, that's 100% what this is.
Fuck no. 100% not.
No, what's happening here is clawing back on taxpayer-funded, far-left Democrat Party propaganda masquerading as objective, just-the-facts news. The act requires public broadcasting to ensure, quote, strict adherence to objectivity and balance in all programs or series of programs of a controversial nature. Obviously, in the 2020 election, it was a major deal that PBS and NPR decided not to cover the Hunter Biden laptop story, which they considered to be fake Russian propaganda. So they pretty clearly took a side and did not serve the public interest. That's just one example. This has obviously been going on for many decades. I used to be an avid listener of NPR back in the late 90s, and at the same time, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh. So something has obviously been going wrong over at public broadcasting. Even NPR's editor came out and said as much, saying basically that NPR had lost its way and had become a partisan echo chamber. Even more bizarre here is NPR CEO Catherine Marr coming out and saying that all of this is an assault on the First Amendment, when she herself has expressed that she sees freedom of speech and even the truth as a barrier to carrying out the agenda she thinks should be carried out.
The number one challenge here that we see and is, of course, the First Amendment in the United States is a fairly robust protection of rights, and that is a protection of rights both for platforms, which I actually think is very important, that platforms have those rights to be able to regulate what kind of content they want on their sites. But it also means that it is a little bit tricky to really address some of the real challenges of where does bad information come from.
It comes from within you. It is you.
All right, next we have Jasmine Crockett making an absolute fool of herself and doubling down on a lie that absolutely nobody is buying at this point.
Implication being those people think he has made mistakes.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. You know, people tried to talk about the mental acuity of Joe Biden. And as someone who was able to interact with him, I never questioned his mental acuity. But come on now.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Oh yeah, Jasmine Crockett definitely knows all about mental acuity, which is why you've probably noticed that she's always looking down and reading a script while she delivers these retarded rants. I have a feeling she smokes a little too much weed and has a problem keeping a coherent train of thought. It's just wild to me that she's still willing to carry on this obvious lie that at this point has become conventional wisdom, that Joe Biden wasn't all there, wasn't running the White House, and both Democrats and their media covered it up to stop Trump. Who the hell is voting for these people? It's like any crazy nut off the street can get elected. All right, lastly, the one you absolutely have to see for yourself. Someone from a Mexican drug cartel has a message for Donald Trump.
Message?
What's your message to Donald Trump if he's watching this?
Mis respetos, él tiene que según él buscar lo mejor para los suyos. Pero el detalle que ya están los consumidores, ¿no? Si no hubiera consumidores, pues uno le parara.
Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying.
They must be absolutely pissing their pants because they know exactly what to do to get on Trump's good side. As usual with the left, the enemy of my enemy is my friend because CNN is apparently so desperate, they're looking to cartel members for allies. I have to say though, the cartel member isn't wrong here. As long as there is a major consumer base for the product here in America, the product will find a way in. We can make war with the cartels all we want, but as long as Americans are willing to spend millions of dollars on that product, then somebody will find a way. All right, folks, what do you all think about each of these clips? Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. All right, folks, what do you all think about these 3 clips? Make sure to let us all know in the comments. And if you're still here, might as well hit that like button and subscribe. I do post on a regular basis, and YouTube apparently isn't notifying anybody, so make sure to keep checking back for more on your own.